I read that you said football's like a focal point for a growing sense of Welshness. Why is that?
Yeah, in recent years, I think the key thing is, Welsh history is complicated, isn't it? Wales isn't an independent nation. Wales wasn't self-governing until 1999, which is really quite recent. So, if you don't have a government, if you don't exist in a political sense, what makes you a nation? Why do people imagine that Wales isn't just a county? It's not like Shropshire or something, that it's a country.
Yeah.
So why do people think that? And they think that because of kind of culture. But culture's divisive, because if you say what makes Wales different to, say, Shropshire is the fact that Wales has a language and Wales has a distinct history, what happens if you don't feel that history has anything to do with you? What happens if you weren't born in Wales, or your parents weren't born in Wales, that you're not part, your family history doesn't stretch back? What happens if you don't speak Welsh? If what makes Wales different to Shropshire is having a language and a distinct culture, are you not properly Welsh if you don't speak Welsh? So the advantage of sport is it gets around all of those questions about what it means to belong to a nation, which are ultimately kind of divisive, because you can support the team, you can kind of sing the national anthem, you can play for the team without having to agree what that actually means. You could be a full-on right-wing unionist and support Wales, or you can be a hardcore nationalist. You can speak Welsh, you can speak English, you can be black, you could be white. Your family might go back in Wales for centuries and generations, or you might have only been here 5 minutes. Sport doesn't worry about those kind of things. It's something accessible that people can get behind. It can help people feel that they belong. And that's why it's been really powerful in the sense of Welshness, because it doesn't demand anything of people. It doesn't have rules to it. If you support the Welsh football team, you can be Welsh.
Yeah. And do you think that sort of sense of Welshness has been heightened by how successful the team has been in the last sort of 20 years?
Yeah. I mean, if you look historically, why has rugby kind of been more of the focal point? Because exactly everything I've just said also applies to rugby. Why has rugby been the focal point for that kind of Welshness rather than football? Now, if you go back 100 years, sometimes people were saying, oh, football's an English sport, Welsh is more authentically Welsh, but that was all bollocks. The real reason why rugby was the focal point for Welshness, not football, was because Wales had a really good rugby team and Wales had a crap football team for a lot of the time. Everybody wants to feel good about themselves and who they are. You want things that make you feel proud of where you're from. And in the 70s and for a long time before that, rugby gave Wales that, whereas football was often disappointing. Whereas in the last decade or so, Welsh international football has become very popular, but not very popular. Well, it has become popular, but it's become more popular because it's being successful. So success is, sport is competitive. It's not enough just to have a team that takes you so far. But if you want to go further, success on the pitch is absolutely vital. So, success gives people a feel-good factor about it. It turns being Welsh from just being something you are into something to really kind of celebrate and be happy about.